around the Hopecast Network. We're delighted to see you this week to recap Season 5, Episode 5 of Fox's The Floor. And I will say this is a femme fatale episode, ladies and gentlemen. The first episode in all of Floor history where only female contestants dueled. And also, we've seen some mini fiefdoms develop on the floor in a new geography we've not really seen yet either. So it'll be fun to break those two things down. Maybe we can push Eric to the side a little bit because he sure did get a lot of camera time for a show that was, I think they called it Sister Act this week. Let's get the brother off the screen for a week. But
yeah,
I'm just saying.
Oh.
Welcome back, everybody. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good. We missed you. It's been a week for all of us, I think. I think Angie right now is dealing with a lot. She went through a big storm and somehow she is here with no Wi-Fi. She's on her hotspot. Is that right, Angie?
Yes, I am showing such dedication, not only to my pod people, but to our intrepid crew of listeners that joins us. Yes, I am recording this from my laptop connected to my personal hotspot on my T-Mobile device. So shout out T-Mobile. So far, so good. We're going to see how it goes. How's everybody else? I assume nobody else had a tree fall, knock down all of their power this week. So count your lucky stars.
I want to brag on you, Angie. You were on here because you are...
He's unstoppable. He's unstoppable.
She's unstoppable.
I am
She's unstoppable. You're
I'm unstoppable.
I'm on Sia, right? I love me.
Yeah,
Sia.
good job.
I'm about
to
I don't know what she even says, but
I don't.
close enough.
That was pretty good, though. I knew what you meant.
Thanks, Angie.
You can only see half of her face and know half of her songs.
Yeah.
It's part of the Gen X. It's the Gen X work ethic, Brad. Gen Xers, we don't quit, man. We show
we don't.
up. We are loyal. We are loyal to a fault. So here I am.
That's why there's so many. We don't stuff. Nikki, I'm got a different shirt on tonight. I'm not wearing my wrestling shirt. I have my favorite movie of all time on. Back to the Future.
Nice. Have you seen the musical?
Well, that's my question to you. This is my favorite movie. I bought this at the Goodwill on Friday for $4.
Nice. Good time.
Can you get Back to the Future, the musical, to your town and you be in it?
Well, the rights aren't out yet because I think it's touring right now. But once it comes out for regional theaters to do, I'll let you know.
I want you to be in this. I was thinking about that today.
I would love that. I've heard it's a great show.
What role would you play, Nikki? What would you pick?
I don't know, Brad. What role would I play?
I was thinking you would be a good Doc Brown. I'm just kidding.
I'm here for it.
No, you have to play. You have to play Jennifer, Marty's girlfriend.
Yeah.
You
I
got two roles. You've got Jennifer or you've got Leah Thompson's and Marty's mom. Yes, you got to play one of the two. That's really the only chicks ever in this movie.
Yeah, valid. All right, well, I will jot that in my notebook and I will report back.
Ashley, good to have you back again with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, fantastic. Good to see
last
you.
week, I was like, oh, be back again.
I'm glad she's
so
back.
Natural. It makes sense.
Thanks.
It's awesome. I'm glad to have you.
Yeah.
As always. So, what do you think, guys? Should we get right to it? Should we just start with episode 1 and see where the crazy train takes us? All right. So, as you know, last week, Kristen ended up being the winner to leave us hanging. And, of course, Rob offers her the choice of going back or staying up to fight. And she says she's going to stick around for a while and decides to pick Mallory. Now, Mallory, I want to know Nikki's impression of Mallory's fit. Since you are the fashion police.
That is funny that you say that because I wrote her as my fashion toot. I said she's giving Miss Elwoods and I loved it. And also, fun fact about Mallory, she is the sister of Aaron on season 4, who was the sweetest, and you can tell that they're very similar. So it was nice to see her face there. But yeah, she looked adorable. I loved her vibes. She was a cutie.
I love it. Yeah,
I
I
can't
thought it
remember
was
what she was
very
wearing.
cute. It was
I have no clue.
Hot pink,
business on the front.
like a skirt suit type thing.
Is this the woman with the slightly deeper voice?
I
No?
didn't think she was terribly deep. She had flowing blonde hair.
Are we doing the medical? Is that what we're doing?
No,
Medical?
babe.
No,
Yeah.
what is it? It's medical,
Yeah,
right?
it's going to be
She wasn't
doctor's
the
office.
original. That was her category, but she was the one that challenged her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Kristen
Hashtag.
challenged her.
Yeah, are you talking about Kristen? Because she had a deeper.
That might be what I'm talking about. Not.
Hashtag
Yeah,
Cooter
I
boot.
think you're talking about
Jessica McLaughlin says toot or boot. I can't
Cooter
remember
boot,
that.
baby. That's from
What is-
RuPaul's Drag
Kristen.
Race.
Jessica.
Oh, I don't know what that means. I've never watched that. Okay.
Jessica is my sister, so hey, Jessica. Everyone say
Okay, Jessica.
hey.
Toot or boot.
Hi, Jessica, Nikki's sister. Well, yeah, Mallory's outfit was giving Elle Woods, and if I can use the Gen Z slang appropriately, giving Elle Woods. She basically was like business on the top, party on the bottom. They were kind of like a short skirt. She was looking really good.
Yeah.
She's also in medical sales, so part of her job is looking really good and selling merch to physicians. So she
No, wait,
is
does
medical
that
sales
work, Angie?
device, we assume.
Does that work? Like if you're a
Yeah.
doctor,
I know
And-
all the pharma and medical salespeople I know are hot.
They are.
I'm just gonna say that.
They're hot and they do
very
well and they make
good-looking
a lot of
people.
money.
Yeah, they do. They do.
so they're
Yeah, Brad,
kind
you
of
missed your
like
call,
Diana
man. I'm sorry.
Rossini's of medical sales. Like you just do whatever you got to do to sell. Is that what we're talking about here?
I don't
Not
know,
that
you know,
far.
They've really tightened up. And like, come on, yeah, not that far.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Doctors
kidding,
used
ladies.
to like wine and dine. They used to take them out. They used to have like an expense account and be able to wine and dine people and take them and get them comped tickets. I think they've really put the kibosh on a lot of that now. But still, you have to be really good looking to be a salesperson. Yes. Anyway,
I
she
can
goes
say this. I can
up
say this,
against
Angie.
Kristen, they duel.
If Mallory showed up in my doctor's office, if any of you ladies showed up in my doctor's office, and my wife would be like, "Yeah, you ain't taking any of those ladies out for dinner tonight. It's not happening. You ain't whining and dining those ladies. You got kids to take care of.
Nope.
You need to come home." That's what would happen.
You come home. I get you.
You need to
Well,
come
this
home.
category was this was a classic. You see it, you say it. I think, in all fairness, unless you were a scientist or somehow related to RFK Jr., you probably have been in a doctor's office and you would probably recognize most of those things. So unless you're a major anti-vaxxer, I think you would have done great on this. And they did. They did great. No passing. The only one they passed on was Kristen, who passed on the EKG machine. She said vital signs. And I got to be honest, I'm not seeing Kristen here. Those were vitals. Did anybody have an opinion about that EKG slide or any other slides?
I thought it was like a heart monitor, so I'm not a good person to ask. What did you guys think? Vital
I said
sign
heart, I
monitor.
said like
Okay.
heart monitor. I didn't.
Yeah, Mike
I-
says vital sign monitor.
I thought it was
so-
vitals. Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of The Pit lately, and I'm telling you right now, that was just vital sign. Now, it was an EKG maybe in there, but if they really wanted EKG, I think they could have been more deliberate with their choice of slides. But honestly, it was neck and neck the whole time. But I wasn't really a fan of that moment because it was so tight. It would have been nice to not have it end up with that kind of a thing.
Right.
This is why I love Mike in the chat. Calling that an EKG is like showing a deluxe pizza and then saying the answer was mushrooms. I kind of agree with you on that one.
Right, like that's just one of the things that it monitors, right? Doesn't that screen monitor several different things? I don't know. I've never been on
It
one,
should
but
screen your pulse ox, your pulse saturation. Maybe it's got a pulse oximeter hooked up to. She also got, which I was really proud of her for, and it would also indicate your pulse rate.
okay, so it's more than just
I
that.
think-
It's more than just the EKG,
Yeah.
so they should have given it to her.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
would,
a
I would
bummer.
have hoped so, but it's all right. Anyway, she ended up losing, but with grace. This was so nice. There were no whiny losers on the floor this week. They were all graceful, professional women. So we just got to give it up to them. No hate to the guys in our audience, but I appreciated that they were just very kind to one another. And then Mallory says, "No, I'm going to go back." And we're like, "Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh my god.
If you must." But here we go. I knew Brad would be like, "Here we go again. Well, she's not staying. She's not fighting. She's
This
going
is what
back."
Angie. We hear this all the time.
I think I'm going to go back to the floor and take my chance. Okay? All right.
That's what we hear all the time.
All the time.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah.
I don't understand
And,
it.
yeah, I do think we have to go to the chat because they're saying some funny stuff. Mike said that calling it an EKG is like showing a deluxe pizza and then saying that the answer was mushrooms. Yeah, it's like it's just the.
I'd just say that.
I feel like Angie's not listening to me, or I was making some homemade wine before I got on here. Maybe that's affected.
I said, am I having deja vu?
Did you just say the deluxe pizza comment?
You did. I said, that's why I love Mike in the chat. He brings up funny stuff.
Well, he missed like 3 or 4 things, and I just looked up trying to catch up and thought, oh, that's funny. But yeah, I guess you're right. I got one head going one way. Anyway, he's right. All the nurses that watched it with him, he said, lost their damn minds. So yeah, I'm sorry. That was a blip. We'll just say it was a time delay. I have bad Wi-Fi. I'm going to blame
Yeah,
bad
it's the Wi-Fi, right?
She was kind of choppy at that time, actually.
Damn T-Mobile, we take it back.
Yeah, now we're sponsored by Verizon.
T-Mobile. It's not like T-Mobile's our sponsor or anything. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Okay, so the randomizer comes. All right, here's the thing. We've got K. Now, Oregon Trail. What did you guys think it was going to be? Did you have an expectation at all? Ashley, what do you think?
Go ahead.
Nikki, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say what we were talking about earlier is the first thing my mind went to was dysentery, because anyone who's ever played the Oregon Trail computer game knows that's the one thing you die of. It's always you die of dysentery. So that was not on there, unfortunately. I don't know how they would show that on the screen, probably for the best, but what did you guys think?
I thought it was really similar to Wild West from season
Yes.
4. So I think it was about what I anticipated. I did think it would be a little bit, there were some that I was like, I don't know if I would have gotten like the word they were looking for. Like, obviously you don't always know how the judges will like respond to your answers, but some of it I was like, good for them. I definitely would have had to study, but it was like exactly what I expected, but also a little bit harder than I think I would have anticipated if I were out there.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ashley, about the Wild West like reboot. And I don't blame them. I think if production goes to the trouble to gather 50 plus slides of something, and in one season that category just doesn't go deep, they're like, how can we reframe this category? And I think Oregon Trail was perfect. I know Kay was from Eastern Oregon, so maybe they decided to kind of pull that together because she was an alternate from the States series. So, maybe they pulled it in with that. But yeah, I just thought it was like Name the Prairie stuff, basically. It could have been a Little House on the Prairie category for all we know.
Very much so.
It would have been cool had they done this category and everything looked like 8-bit Oregon Trail game. That would have been neat.
Yes, everything pixelated. And of course, the Oregon Trail category isn't until a little bit later. They do all that later. But this is the first time we really start to look at it seriously. And Kay owns it. It goes back to the floor for a while, but it comes back up later in the episode. But Kay doesn't get to duel in her own category, so we don't get to know how much of that she knows. She goes after Mallory and emojis. And this was really, I think, a little bit of ageism at its finest, right? There was a bit of skepticism about how well Kay would do.
I know.
Even
I was
Rob
too
kind of
upset for her. He was like, even Rob was kind of being a dick about it. He was like, do you even know what an emoji is? And she's like, excuse me?
First off, Granny send the emojis.
Let me just clarify. All the people I know who use emojis, not Gen Z. They're all like baby boomers. And, like,
Boomers.
That's what I'm saying.
boomers.
Right.
we aren't using emojis, but like my grandpa loves an emoji. Actually, he loves stringing like 10 together. So like he
Right.
would definitely know them.
I know. It was such an uncalled for thing. Like, oh, you're old. You have no idea what a phone even is. And then she showed him. She showed him.
From now on, my line is this. My line is,
Don't sleep on the white hair.
Yeah, don't sleep on the white hair.
man.
Yeah, I mean, we had
It happens a lot with older contestants where it's like they are really underestimated. I think like more often than not, they get up there and actually do like really well, and people are like so surprised. And I'm like, do you think they all have dementia? Like, what do you think is going on?
That was what they were treating her like, and she was so adorable, and she seemed totally on it. So it was super like, all right, that's not cute.
Yeah.
We had Virginia on our episode. She was
Virginia! I loved her.
This
was
lady
great,
more. I
and-
like this lady more than Virginia.
Oh my, I love them both, but Virginia was so cute. I forgot about her.
She was, but I like this lady. This lady was like, I know my emojis.
But-
You give me the eggplant and the peach, I know where we're going with this.
Yeah, but she didn't. And this is my beef. Peach didn't. I mean, it's Peachy. She's adorable. And I'm just like, I wanted the emojis to be a bit, gosh, I guess they can't do it. I wanted a little bit of that spiciness to them.
Oh my
Because
gosh!
to
Angie.
just say say what you see thing, I'm like, really? That's what we're doing here?
Like,
We're
what
doing-
emojis do you wish were on there, Angie?
What are spicy ones besides the
just call them
eggplant
what
and
they
peach?
are. Like, like the wave and the eggplant is not an eggplant. I know we have vegetable garden. Eggplant should have been in vegetable garden. But if you're going to show an eggplant emoji, now granted it's a family show, fine, then leave it out. But and then leave the peach out, for crying out loud. But like all the innuendo emojis, they were throwing them, and I'm like, ooh, that's spicy. And then it just wasn't spicy. Except I know Brad got to see his poop emoji, so I knew he was happy. And
There's
he was
that.
probably
The
fisting.
gun to head emoji is always a classic. Like you told you got to do something you don't want to do. You text your bro the gun
Right.
to head emoji. Yeah, you're like,
Right.
oh my gosh, I got to do this again.
They were literal. They weren't figurative. And I think what's fun about emojis is that they've become like a language. They become
Yeah.
figurative. They become metaphors. They're not just literally the thing. And I think that would have been kind of fun.
The middle finger emoji.
now.
That's a good one
Yeah.
too. They didn't have that
Yeah.
one.
Well, it's
Mike's got a
Fox,
good one in
Brad. What do you
chat, but
expect?
It's a visual medium.
I will
when
say
you-
the one that I thought that
know.
they shouldn't have given to Kate was this. The shrug. She said, "I don't know," but to me,
Yes.
that's a shrug. I
Yeah.
disagreed with that.
That's a
I
shrug.
should have given it to her. I don't know.
I agree.
She was just like, "I don't know," and they gave it to her. So like, good for her. But to me, that's a shrug.
Ashley, it would have been
Yeah,
funny if they would have showed the middle finger emoji but blurred the middle finger. And then you're just watching it and they're like, middle finger. And you're like, oh, I didn't see it, but that had to be funny. That would have been good. I would have liked the blur.
That could have
Angie.
been Angie's emoji ideal duel. Like they're showing the eggplant being risky and they show the middle finger. Like that could have all been happening at the same time.
And don't they
That's
have
what I
one where
wanted,
you're
and I
cursing?
don't think
Like
it's
the,
too much.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not too much to ask, man. You're going to go literal with fruits and vegetables later with vegetable garden, so we could have been spicy with emojis.
Mike is hilarious.
I really wanted a sleepy face emoji because that's really what happened is I kind of fell asleep until the next bowl. Not going to lie.
You did?
But
Okay.
yeah,
well,
I did. Sorry.
she beat her.
Kay decided to stay though.
Wait. Oh, Angie.
What?
She beat her, and it's crazy. She should look at Rob again and say this.
I may or may not be as old as the Oregon trip.
At least she had fun with it. She's
She
a
did.
cutie.
I love this lady, man. She's amazing.
She's cool. And she stuck around. She's got cojones, right? She stayed.
Yep.
She challenges Lisette. Now, Lisette, I don't know what it was, but there was something about her voice. I wanted to record guided meditation for me. I don't know. If Lisette listens, I just thought she had the smooth butter. It was great. And she, Kay, to her credit, said, I'm going for that time boost. She's got it, right? She, what's the phrase? Understood the assignment, as they say. She's going for
Yes,
it. She's gonna
ma'am.
get time. It's going to be awesome. And we get a close-up duel. So, okay, this is the second one of the season, right? We saw the first one last time with balls. Now we're up of vegetable garden. And we're basically saying, Fox goes, you know what? Veggies are too easy. Let's make it harder. Let's just zoom in on them. I wonder if we're going to see a lot more of this close-up action as the seasons progress and they're looking for new ways to visually represent things in more challenging ways. But for now, we've got close-ups of veggies, and we did have some skips. I was a little surprised artichoke got skipped by Kay. I thought that would have been one that would be a little more obvious. Some like potatoes, obviously not so obvious when they're close up. What'd you guys think? Were there some slides that were a little off to you, or did you catch them all? Were you running the category?
The potatoes threw me off because she said sweet potato, but they didn't give it to her. So that's where it because she literally that's what I'm confused about because it's like she said the word potato, so they didn't give it to her. So it's like I don't know. What do you guys think about that? If you say the physical word, should you get it?
This is Nilla wafers again. It keeps happening.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
But they did have sweet potato later in the category, so I see why they couldn't give it.
That's valid.
But I mean, I think I'm the only one because I saw this a lot online actually, is that people didn't see potatoes. But I recognized that it was a potato, and then I was like, oh, I can't believe she didn't get it. But then actually, a lot of people were like, I I wouldn't have been able to get that one. And then I was with Angie where I thought artichoke was easier, but then that wouldn't happen. So I think it was really kind of a controversial duel in a way of like what people got and didn't.
Okay,
I
y'all.
think you're right.
What was you gonna say, Angie?
Go ahead, Rod. I was just saying there have been instances where people say many words at once. And as long as they've said the word, regardless of the sequence it occurs in, the judges have given them credit.
Nuts.
Correct.
You're talking about nuts. Our friend Nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why Nikki would think that, well, she did say potato. Yeah, it wasn't a sweet potato, but she did say potato. And there's precedent for them having done that before. Again, it's just one of those things where it gets muddy. I think there was also the mishap that Mike's referring to in the chat where she said skip, and then she's like, artichokes, oh, pass. So they didn't take skip because pass is the word you use to move along to a new slide. But prior
Which I
to
didn't
saying
like
pass,
that.
she mumbled artichoke. So the question is, should she have gotten credit for that? Is whispering an answer under your breath the same as saying it out loud? These are other things that are just a bit odd. The duel itself was kind of filled with that like ick factor. It didn't feel like a pure win or lose. It felt like it could have been quibbled over more. And that's
I didn't hear
unfortunate.
that. Was she whispering that under her breath? I didn't hear that. Oh,
You know,
so they
skip artichoke, pass.
Oh,
And it
I
was
didn't
weird. Like,
realize
why wouldn't
that.
you just say artichoke? And Mike's saying he wonders if it was a production change up, if there happened during the duel where they paused and edited, spliced back, spliced correctly. I don't know. I guess.
I don't know what
And
Angie
was
said.
Who knows? Okay. Okay, it's fair.
Do y'all even? Can y'all hear Angie? I can't hear Angie.
no.
Yeah, I don't have a clue what Angie's saying.
I
I want to ask this. You've all three been on the show. Is there, I mean, Ashley, you won it, so obviously they liked you. But is there a possibility where they're like, you know what? We don't like this person, so we're just going to not give it to them on this. Because we've had so many rule discussions on this. And is the randomizer that random, or are they like, you know what? Let's keep the play over here, and we'll move it back to Eric. We'll move it. Rigging is a felony. No reason to risk. Okay, thanks, Tim. I get that, yes. I'm just saying hypothetically, Tim. It seems like at times they make their own rules as they go. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. And I think that there is a line that they kind of walk on, partially, not fully over, so that it's considered rigging fully and that they don't get charged. But I think it's very possible that they kind of walk that tightrope and see what they can get away with.
Thank you, Nikki. I feel like you kind of validated me because as much as I'm going to go in on Eric tonight, they want him on this show because he brings that douche factor that they need for
Well, they
us
want a
to
villain.
Yeah, they want a
sure.
villain. So if he gets eliminated second episode, they gotta redo it. Ashley was likable the whole time. They never played you in a bad light where you're like, I don't like her, I want her gone. Like I was rooting for you. But with Eric, of course I don't like Eric. I don't really care much for him. But Angie's back. So Tim, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it is a felony. But I just wonder at times, are they like, let's randomize to this side?
There were people on our season who I talked to who felt not necessarily like anything was rigged or like that they were trying to like fix an outcome, but that like they really wanted, they did have biases as like people. So like there was one person who felt like a producer was like really trying to help them prepare for a potential duel because they became an island. So then they were like, I felt like they were like going out of their way to make sure that I had study material when I was waiting for an interview or like stuff like that. So it was like, I don't know that they were trying to like make sure he won that duel, because ultimately I don't think he does, but they were like, in a way, trying to help make better TV, because no one likes when the duels are a flop. Like, let's just be honest. Like, as we have seen, like no one likes when the duels are just like someone passing the whole time. So I think that they try to make better TV for sure. So like whatever that is, like they try to influence it in that way. I don't think that they're invested in like the outcome of how it happens. I just don't think they care that much about it. I think they just want to make sure they're having a good storyline. Which, like, to your point with the Eric thing, without Eric in this talk of the alliance, what storyline would there be for any of us to like hold on to in this
None.
season? Because
Right,
nothing
right.
like they're all like, it's a lot of going back to the floor, which we're about to see coming up in the next couple of duels, where it's like it doesn't really make sense that you went back to the floor, but you did anyway, and like that's your strategy, like whatever, but it doesn't make a very interesting season. So then you get someone like Eric,
Yeah.
who they're like really playing up the storyline, because like what else is there? Like there's nothing. So
There's
I
a
don't
lot
know,
of this.
perspective.
I don't like Eric.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Who
Can you
said
hear me now?
that?
Yes. Much
Don't like
better,
Eric.
Angie.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened, and I must have been talking forever and nobody heard what I said. So I feel
Not a
bad
word.
that I was holding
It's
up your
okay.
airtime. It's just a random thing. I will say that I agree with Ashley about producers not having a vested interest in who wins at all. I know they can't, partly because of the standards and practices and all the laws around game shows, but they are invested in good TV and whatever it takes to create good TV or manufacture the illusion of anything happening behind the scenes. I think that's what they strive to do, or else, like you're saying, so much of this would be unwatchable and people would just not tune in. Did we all chat as I was trying to reconnect about Eric's cutaway where he was talking about how you win the floor? Were we at that point yet? This was
We haven't
before
talked about it
the
yet,
fourth
but I
duel.
know Brad's
Oh,
chomping.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
there's.
Well, I
yeah.
got you. I do think this. I think at some point, it's very clear that some contestants can be more difficult, maybe a little, maybe less likable, not just in terms of their behavior on set, their behavior off set, their behavior with crew. That it's very possible that there are some contestants that are more well liked, and thereby, for whatever reason, they may get interviewed more or they may get better sound bites. But I think ultimately that's on the contestant. I mean, if you're going to act a fool and you're not going to be cooperative, or you're going to show up late and you're not going to go to makeup on time, it's like at some point you're going to ruffle feathers. So I wouldn't be surprised if that comes into play on some level. But I don't think it impacts who wins or loses a duel. That's just not something they interfere with.
No, I never think they interfere with the duels. I just wonder, is the randomizer really that random, or are they wanting to keep it in a quadrant? It's random in a quadrant where one of these people are going to get
I
it.
think, yeah, I think that's like you're saying. At some point, it's semantics, right? I mean, you can put 10 numbers you pick into a hat, shake up the hat, and pick a number, and call it a random drawing.
Yeah.
It is, even if you stacked the numbers. So it's kind of hard to know how random it is. But
Because they
I
want
mean,
Eric to
degree to
win that
which
money
they're-
last night. They wanted him to win that, right, Ashley? It makes it for good TV.
If I do believe the randomizer is random on some level, because I tend to agree that they're not risking it for the legality. But I think if anything, they wanted people in that corner to actually build up territory and take the 20K away from him. Like, I don't actually think they were setting him up. Like, if the randomizer was really limited to that area, what they were aiming for was someone who would keep playing, and it just kept not happening. So they kept trying. So because like all those little territories, like if you had just played a couple of times, you could have connected a lot of spaces. And I think that's what, if anything, that's what they were hoping for, so that he actually wouldn't win the money. I don't actually get the vibe that if the producers have favorites and non-favorites, which I believe as people you just do, I don't get the vibe that they were particularly fond of him with the edit he's getting.
Actually, you're probably right. But he is good television, because when I watch him, I'm rooting for the loss.
Right. There's nothing else interesting about this season other than him. Like, I couldn't really tell you anyone's name, really, other than his, because no one's been a standout real contestant except for like Dion, just for being boisterous. And then everyone, at least at this point to me, aren't standouts. So
I mean, this is what people say about me and Eric all the time.
Seems to be a very arrogant individual.
Oh God.
I call him arrogant.
Eric,
Get it?
I like
Arrogant?
that.
Yeah.
Angie, you wrote it tonight, man.
It's arrogant. I'm telling you, that was worth waiting for, right, guys? I had a little beef to pick with him because, I didn't write down the exact quote because again I have spotty Wi-Fi, but he says something to the effect of, and I'm sure Ashley would appreciate this, and Ashley and I both played the game differently, but it says, Eric says that you have to play aggressively if you want to win. He said you can't just lie back and go back to the floor. But he did end up going back to the floor.
He did.
And 3 of the 4 last
And
winners
it's just not true.
went back to the floor early.
And also, can I just say, they filmed right after us, so he hasn't even seen the one person that's been aggressive and won the floor. Literally everybody has won up to his point by going back and not playing.
So his perspective is only season 3, right? Right, Ashley?
Yeah, he's only seen 3 seasons, and in all 3 seasons, all of the winners never challenged anybody unless they were randomized to do so.
Are you talking about this when he said this?
It happens every time. She just adopted Oregon Trail, and she's getting challenged.
She didn't
every time.
challenge.
Just go back. Just go back.
Every time.
Just go back.
You're just the
But
master, dude. You're the
statistically-
master.
Yeah, statistically, you can't go home if you're not dueling. So if you can stay there, as long as you can stay there, you should stay there. Now, I get his point. Now that they've built in more incentives, there's definitely more strategy at play. Get your time boost, get your category swap, get the territory freeze. Absolutely. Be aggressive early, capture those things, but don't just keep dueling to duel. It is better to go back and if you know your category. If you're up there and you've just inherited something you're scared to death of, then obviously it doesn't make sense to go back and try to defend it. But, most of the time it makes sense. So I don't know. I'm like, dude, you're still on the floor and you're up there, you're talking about don't go back to the floor. It's like you went back to the floor and now you're collecting money. But that's beside the point. Let's hit up, if we want to, Lizette goes back after Veggie Gardens. And we end up with the randomizer again, and they activate Erin, our cruise director. She's so cute. I really wanted them to play like a clip of Love Boat, but maybe they had to get the rights to that or something.
I wonder what she's a
but she
cruise
was-
director for. Like, what cruise line? Does anyone know? Royal, Norwegian?
Caribbean.
I follow her on Instagram, but it just said somewhere at sea on her bio. It didn't really say who she works for. I don't know.
You okay,
she said
Ashley?
that, she hooked Bob
Ashley
up.
just got it.
Did
your
a demon
cat
just
bite you?
attack you?
Yeah, he bit me.
She is a
Sorry.
witch.
Is he a demon?
Ashley should do the show with us with a witch hat on one week just to be funny. That would be
Oh,
hilarious.
totally.
yeah. The witch! Burn
That
her!
would be so perfect. So
Okay, sorry for the interruption. Go on, Angie.
Oh, it's okay.
No, yeah, you're right. Interrupt. The cat biting is way more interesting than this duel was, honestly. I have to say, if I'm being honest, I was so excited. So Erin gets randomized. She chooses Ari, right? Ari's next to her in the corner. They've got this cool little corner club happening, and it's getting broken apart this episode. But she's got iconic eyes. And I'm like, this is going to be awesome. I love celebrity faces and eyes, and you just know they're going to pick like some of the most famous, most well-known, most interesting and beautiful and attractive eye in all of Hollywood history. I can't wait for it. I'm here for it. And what the heck? Can I just say? I'm going to say what the heck, and I'm going to let you all fill in what you thought might have been wrong with the duel, unless you loved it, and argue with me.
First off, the cruise director said something that I think is going to haunt her for the rest of her life.
You gotta go big or go home.
And then she went back. I know.
This is
You
gonna be
gotta
bad.
love
I'm
her.
going to get into this when we get to that duel because it really ticked me off.
Yeah.
I couldn't even. It's infuriating.
Well, here's the thing. They didn't get deep into the eye category because there was so
No.
much skipping, it just died. First of all, and I really hate to say this, and I'm going to throw it to Nikki. Ari, fashion, do you have an opinion about her look? You are kind of the
I
aesthetic.
honestly don't even remember what
Judge
she was
here. Did anything
wearing.
stand
What was
out?
she wearing?
I couldn't see what she was wearing, but I couldn't see her eyes. I don't know
Okay,
if anybody
so
else noticed
that-
this. I don't know if she had heavy eyeliner or mascara, but she had whatever the makeup crew had done or whatever she chose to do, I literally could not see her eyes. And I thought, well, that's kind of ironic given her category. I didn't know if it was deliberate, but I couldn't get
Yeah,
past
I don't
that.
know
It
what
was,
the producers were
distracting.
thinking there, but you could tell she was not happy with any of it because, especially the way
No,
she
she
booked it
wasn't
on
having any
stage
of it.
after she lost, she was like, "F this, I'm out of here. I'm so done."
Yeah.
She didn't even have Rob like, "Okay, thank you for being here." She just booked it, and you could even see when the floor was lighting up, she's just trailing off. I'm like, honestly,
already
valid
walking.
girl.
But that's the way to
Well,
go,
that's
right?
what
You
these
don't want to.
movies-
You don't want to just stay out there and be hugging it. You're just like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Peace.
Well, they tell you
Well,
to
she did-
stay
I don't-
until Rob tells you to go.
Oh,
But
they
she
do?
was like,
Okay.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I can't remember what
I'm
she
out.
looked like. I can't remember what she
Well,
looked like.
she skipped. First of all, Erin wins, right, with like a 31-second lead. But that's basically because she only skipped Danny Trejo, and Ari
I knew
skipped
that one.
everybody else. But
I
let's
couldn't think
talk
of his
about
name.
these
I'm like,
eyes.
it's the machete guy. I couldn't think of his name.
Machete
I
but-
guy.
knew it.
The
I was like,
machete
Danny
guy.
Trejo.
Killian Murphy. I don't know how she missed that. I mean, other than like Ian Somerhalder, I can't think of a celebrity male with better blue eyes than him.
You know,
Emma
I
Stone,
have blue eyes,
beautiful
Angie.
green eyes.
Expected. With the iconic eyes and
What,
then doing
Ashley?
close-up tools, like I expected it to be like a lot closer to their actual eyes. And then it was like actually just like half their face.
It was, like
Yeah.
here, their forehead into like
Yeah.
their mid nose.
Like I thought it was gonna be like really
But
close. I
here's-
was like, oh, that's so hard, but
I will say Mila
Yeah,
Kunis
and it
was
wa- it
very
wasn't.
hard because
Yeah, I
I
didn't-
watched this episode twice, once yesterday and once in the bathtub a couple hours ago. And I will say I could not remember Mila Kunis even though I watched it the day before. That was a very difficult one to
Wait,
me. At
you
least.
were watching this in the bathtub, Nikki?
Yeah, I have a.
Did
I
you have a
television
toaster
in my-
plugged in close to the bathtub? Because that's about where you're at
That
this
is
point.
awesome.
I do have a
Don't do
flat
that.
screen TV mounted so
Don't.
I can watch it while I'm in the tub. No toasters.
There's a lot
though.
to live
Sorry.
for. Nikki, you have a
We-
lot to live for.
I
Nikki,
do.
we
And we
need-
care
you-
about you.
I feel like your house is amazing. We need to do a Hopecast MTV Cribs tour of your house one night.
Welcome to my crib. Yes, I'll
Yeah.
give you a tour one of these
This is
days.
where I cook my. This is where the maid cooks my dinner,
Oh,
and
I wish.
my
The maid
fish.
being my husband.
I will say that Mila Kunis wasn't too tough, but I'm going to be a little persnickety. That's a word I haven't used in like a century. Persnickety. Mila Kunis technically has. I wrote it down. It's called what's it called? Heterochromia. So heterochromia is when your eyes are two different colors. Your irises are two different colors. Technically, Mila Kunis has that condition. She has one green eye and one
She
brown eye.
does?
But if you look at the slide, yes. And if you look at the picture, she has two green eyes. Kristen Bell, she's another one. She has, I think, one blue and one hazel or brown eye. But I know they didn't get deep into the category, but I'm like, where's your Frank Sinatra? Where's Betty Davis? Like, I was just like, even something like Homer Simpson would have been kind of funny. But who is Jesse Williams? And shoot me for not knowing, but I don't think he's an icon. I don't think he has iconic eyes. And I had to Google him, and I'm sorry if I'm like out of the demographic.
You've never
but
watched
he is
Grace?
nowhere an icon. But
He's a
is he an
beautiful man.
icon?
No, I wouldn't call him an
Is he an
icon.
iconic
Unless you.
eye?
Yeah, he's known for Grey's. If you haven't watched Grey's, then you probably wouldn't know him.
I've
Yeah,
never
Grey's
watched Grey's.
Anatomy. He was one of
Never
the
watched
doctors on Grey's Anatomy, right?
Yep.
Right? He was on Grey's. I know that, but the eyes, were those iconic? I'm
I
like,
mean,
come
he
on.
does have
I got a
gorgeous
little
eyes.
irritated.
But of all the famous people to
Yeah.
have beautiful eyes, he would be a little bit further down on the list. Although he is beautiful, but
Well, not top 50.
I won't lie. He's not unattractive. But
I wouldn't say he's an
I don't
A-list
know.
celebrity either. He's more like B or C. Whereas you
Yeah,
think they start with
I
more
don't know.
A's or even cartoons. I don't think they had any cartoon eyes. That's kind of what I thought this was gonna
That's
Oh,
what
be.
they
I
could have done SpongeBob. That
like-
would have been.
SpongeBob, Homer Simpson, or Marge Simpson with the eyelashes.
Scooby Doo.
You
Yeah,
know,
I don't
something
know any of them.
goofy.
Like Disney eyes.
Anyway, I
too.
thought it was a great idea. It just needed better execution, if I can be honest.
Jenny says
but
Bing
Aaron
Crosby.
wins. Bing Crosby, yes, 100%. Like we said, Frank Sinatra would be a good one. I'm trying to think of other people that you could. Jack Nicholson, those would have been
Ooh.
pretty.
What if they did
No,
Ray Charles with his
recognizable.
glasses on?
Or Stevie Wonder.
Or Stevie Wonder? Yes.
That would have been so cruel.
It's just
Wait,
glasses. Oh
With
my
his
gosh.
glasses?
Hold on. Before we move on, I was on speaking of cruise ships, I was on a cruise and they did like Adele, it was like people impersonating like Adele and Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder. And they had this man who was not blind pretend to be blind and get escorted around the stage. It was
Are you
So
kidding?
cringe.
You're joking, right?
I'm not joking. They had fake blind Stevie Wonder impersonator. It was crazy. That shame on you, Norwegian Cruise Lines.
Yes,
Wow.
shame on you.
It was insane.
Maybe
My
we'll
husband and I
contact
looked at
Aaron.
each other, were like,
Aaron
that guy
knows
is
somebody there.
so
That's
bad.
like when people who don't need the rascals at Walmart are cruising in the rascal at Walmart. You're like, you don't need this. You just eat too much. That's the problem.
You're just lazy.
Maybe
Yeah,
walk a few aisles and you might not have to be in this rascal that you're riding in.
valid.
You know. Okay, I'm not gonna even.
Wait, what was you gonna say, Angie?
No,
what was you
I
gonna say?
Not every disability is a visible disability.
You're right,
And I
Angie.
just
I'm
want to
sorry.
say that for our friends who have disabilities, you don't always know. Now, to be fair, are there people who abuse the system? 1,000%.
Oh
But
yeah, absolutely. If you
sometimes
need it, please
you
use
don't
it. But
always
there are
know
people
what
that
they're
don't need
doing.
it.
There are but listeners, this is what Angie, Nikki, and Ashley think because they're waiting on me because I make bad comments like this and eventually I'll get canceled. So they're saying this right here.
Building an empire, eventually it's going to be time to take them down.
Take them down, baby.
Yes, that's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
No, actually,
this
I
empire
agree
of
with
nothing.
you. I get really irritated when I see people abuse systems in place to help others, and it's annoying. And I don't deny that you've seen what you've seen. I also, however, want to at least let people who listen know that I am aware that not every disability is a visible one. So
Yes. I agree with you,
take
Angie.
the PSA away.
I agree with
I
you.
know,
Angie.
I know you do, Brad. You've got a heart of gold. You weren't trying to hurt
It's a heart
anybody.
of bronze, but
Um,
yes.
Well, Aaron
That's
stays. We're like, yay! Go big or go home, Aaron. Yay! We're so excited for you. And she goes after Rebecca in Lego. I got to tell you this: Lego does not have an S on the end. It drives me crazy when somebody says, "I've stepped on Legos." No, you've stepped on Lego. I'm just telling you, everybody. There's
So
no
Lego
S,
is
never
in
has
one
been.
singular block. You can't
It
just
is, but
call
it's
it.
both. It's both singular and plural. I build with
Look,
Lego.
I'm holding
It's
two-
weird.
Two in my hand.
Lego.
I'm holding
Lego.
two Lego.
They're not plural.
Lego.
I'm not holding two Legos.
You're holding a leg eye.
Wow.
No, it's
My
always-
mind's blown. I
Jenny,
know
even
someone who
your
works for
sister.
Lego. I'm gonna call him up and confirm with him. But that's crazy.
As an English professor, it actually hurts me to say it, but it is the truth. There's no S on it. Plural
Good
or
to
not.
know.
Yeah, no,
now
your
I
sister
won't
knows.
look like an idiot.
Yeah. Okay, but you won't. But Rob didn't put an S on it, and that was great. And the category didn't have an S on it, also great. A Lego bricks. Oh, look at Mike. He said you are stepping on bricks with an S. You are holding two Lego bricks in your hand, but not Legos.
Oh, I kind of hate
Huh?
that.
Ah.
I'm kind of
That's
annoyed
crazy.
at this point.
So-
Yeah, it makes me mad. Yeah.
What did you think of the category? What did we think of the category?
I thought that the guitar was or the ukulele was a guitar as well. It was too hard, but then it's like, oh, it's like a flower.
The
What?
flowers. How are you supposed to differentiate the ukulele from the guitar in Lego form?
Right. It's
You
just a
can't.
small
It's
guitar.
stupid.
Yeah, you can't.
They should have had a
wrong.
massive
You're not
Lego holding a little guitar. Then you've been like ukulele.
It's tricky.
Yeah, that would've
If
made
you
more
are
sense.
If you are a collector of the Lego, there is a collection that includes like the scooter and a retro boombox and I think a record player and some other things, and the ukulele's part of that collection. So it's kind of a throwback to the beachy vibe, if you will. But I agree with you. It looked like a guitar. Just give it to him at that point. There's no scale to prove otherwise. So I'm with you. It was weird. What did you think about Marine and Green Goblin and Stitch? And in those cases, it was a kind of a pop culture knowledge as well as just, a Lego object. Some of those I thought were difficult, but
Well, yeah, it's funny
I mean, I
because
knew what they were. They were
when we had bobbleheads on our season, we thought it was going to be very much pop culture, kind of like what this
Okay.
Lego one was, but it ended up being obviously not that. But this very much was a good mix in between, which I appreciated.
Yeah. This is a cool category. I like seeing Lego. Lego, not Legos.
Oh yeah,
I
she
do too. And
Tim,
too,
she
but-
definitely should have gotten Wolverine. I agree with you. Wolverine was
Yeah.
even to me. I'm not
Optimus
like a
Prime?
Marvel
Me either.
superhero person, but I even knew that.
I mean, he just played with
Yeah.
Deadpool a couple years ago, so they should have had him in there, right? I mean, she should have
Well,
known
and
that.
Rebecca missed Steamboat and the Lucky Bamboo plant. So it wasn't just Ukulele that got her. So she didn't, run into a few. But then Erin has a little bit of a side speech where she had told the camera she wanted people to be intimidated by her. She goes, "I've already won. People know I know what I know. And they're going to be a little afraid of me now.
Nah,
So I can
not
go
at
back
all.
to the floor and defend my category." Would you be afraid of her at this point? Ashley?
No.
Nikki?
No.
No,
Anybody? No. Brad's not intimidated one bit. Yeah, I thought that was a little interesting.
Yeah, I like
I don't
what
know.
Game
I guess
Bouncer
she thought
Bim
that
says.
people would be more afraid.
Ashley said, "Don't be scared of a third duel." Aaron, wait, I can explain. I'm sweating and I'm panicking.
Yeah.
She's
legit.
crapping herself on
I'm
stage,
sweating.
man.
But then I like
She's one away.
Yeah, I just don't understand. And she had been like kind of posturing about Yacht Rock every single time she was supposed to choose a category and didn't challenge.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually felt good about Yacht Rock, like why didn't? And you said it both times. Like you almost played it twice. So it's like even if you like
Yeah.
fumbled with Lego, why wouldn't you go for Yacht Rock unless you were just lying? Which like I guess, but what was the point of that?
Is she a Ashley? Is she a replacement? What do you call them?
Oh, an alternate? I actually
An
don't
alternate.
know.
Oh, is Erin an alternate? No.
Okay, she's not. Okay, I was gonna say maybe that's her plan, the master plan that Eric has told her to do. You go back after 2. Maybe
That
that's
is-
what he's told her.
Yeah, I mean, every time someone doesn't go for the third one in this season, I do wonder if it's like, okay, well, are you now only touching people that are in your alliance and like you can't play them? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Right.
Think
Yeah.
that.
That's-
Like, why would
It
you
happens
not?
so many times. It's very odd. Like, what
This
happened?
was boneheaded, and I have given Alex a ton of grief on this show for playing stupid. But this was worse than Alex. Like Alex is a genius compared to this lady because she went back to the floor when she was one duel away from the dumb 5 second or the swap a category. So
Yeah.
and Eric ranks in that bad decision making too, Ashley, because he could have had the 5 second. He could have been the first floor player to ever have the 5 second and the swap. He could have had them both, and he chose not to
Yeah,
do
'cause
it, which I
you
think
can
was stupid.
stack them.
Hmm?
Can you stack them if they're different, or can you not stack them?
I think you can.
So you can stack them. You can for sure stack them because that almost happened to Jonathan behind the scenes on our season,
Okay.
where he almost had because he had like waited to use his time boost, so then that count didn't start until he had used it. But he in that time had won 3 duels, and so he thought he could get another time boost, and they were like, no, but you can have a category swap. So like you can
Yeah.
stack them.
So
on
he
top
could
of
have
each other,
had
but-
both, which I gotta say, if he had scored both, Ashley, you have to
And he
put
had a
him
stupid
top
category.
6. Hmm?
And
What?
he inherited a stupid category. So like he actually had incentive to want to category swap.
Right. It's
Yeah.
not like it was his original
Yep.
category then, because why would he want to swap it? But it was inherited, so wouldn't you want to get rid of it?
Yeah, but we're missing one thing about this, guys. We're missing this right here. We're missing.
They're playing checkers. I'm playing chess.
Yep.
He's playing
Oh,
chess.
that's so annoying.
What a tool. Yes.
I wonder if he was fed some of those lines, because it's actually, you don't even say it out loud unless somebody's like, "Oh, maybe you're playing. Oh, yeah, why don't you say that?" I don't know. He's just. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's not
I'm not.
as smirky and arrogant as he's being like produced to be. But some of those lines, it's like, dude, just stop. Like nobody's
I
on your
said this
side.
when you were off.
Yes.
Hmm? What were you saying,
What
Ashley?
would qualify him as playing chess at this point in his mind? Like, what have you
Yes.
done to be
Well,
playing
yes.
chess? I don't
I
get
s-
it.
Angie, I said this to
Yes.
the ladies when you were off air, and listeners in the chat, please tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like you cannot say about yourself, "I'm playing checkers," while you're playing chess, because you're calling everyone idiots. I feel like the other people have to say, "Wow, Brad is playing checkers or chess, and everyone else is playing checkers." Right, Angie? Like someone has to comment about you. You can't say that's like me going around, man, I am so hot. I can't help how hot I am. And you're ugly. That's what it's like. In the chat, tell me if I'm wrong. Mike, you'll tell me. I know you're a straight shooter. We know Brad is only playing checkers. Yeah, I'm definitely only playing checkers, man. I don't know how to play chess. But this guy is a total rage baiter, man. He is.
Well, he is, and I don't know how much he's being prodded, but he's not going to duel tonight. It's still the women's show, and we've got Erin says she's sweaty. She wants to basically go hose off before she fights again. Okay, Slugger. So we
Hose her off,
hose her off, people. We end up getting Meg in pageants, and I think Mike raises a good question in the chat about tis it better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all? He says, is it better to go back after winning 2 or to try for 3 and lose like Meg? And I'm like, well, bruh, I don't know. I say if you think you got a 60-40 shot, you should keep fighting. That's just how I would see it. But at this point, Meg gets pulled up, and she's pageant queen. Say what you will about pageant queens. She was poised. She was lovely. She's clearly somebody who's used to performing under pressure. So I'm sure she has an edge in this situation. Rob gives her a lot of compliments about, those Alabama girls. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Rob does.
Rob knows those Georgia girls. That's what that videotape was about back in the day.
Oh, my gosh. Did y'all ladies know what Angie's talking about? That was before your time, right?
No.
You have to know the Rob Lowe video.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
haven't seen him.
Ashley,
I'm so much
Nikki.
peace and love him. I haven't seen Rob on my screen ever. Like,
Oh, wow.
I love you both. Let's take a little aside, shall we?
You've seen me more than you've seen Rob. That's crazy.
That's what she said. That's crazy. Mike, are we allowed to talk about this? It's pretty much public knowledge.
Oh, we can talk about this. This is what we heard about in high school.
Can someone tell me what we're
I
talking
learned this
about?
in high school. Huh?
Can
This isn't
someone tell
Richard
me what we're
Gere, the
talking
gerbil.
about? Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, very quickly. Rob Lowe and a friend hooked up with a then, I believe, 16-year-old girl in a hotel room in Georgia and filmed it and made a homemade sex tape.
What? Was he of age?
Yes.
Or was he also underage?
Yes. No, the men were both over 18. The scandal came that it was statutory rape and she was underage, but in the state of Georgia, 16 is the age of consent. So technically it was not illegal. So unfortunately, that part kind of got buried in the headline news where it was like, A-list actor, pretty boy, Brat Packer, falls from grace, but he really didn't. A lot of those Brat Packers bounced right back. They're like Teflon, like Robert Downey Jr. They're like, he's on top of his career after his issues.
So it was two. Hold on, rewind. It was 2 guys, Rob and another guy.
Yes. Yeah.
So
At the
gang
same
bang.
time? At the same time?
Let's chat more about it.
Yeah,
after
I'm
the
not
pod.
doing that. That's gross.
But I will
Wow.
that was, I think, a very clean description of what happened. And again, Mr. Lowe did not break a law, but it was
talking
a
Rob, not me.
scandal and a huge scandal when I was growing up. In high
Wow,
school, it
I
was
remember
the
that.
thing. It was the only thing anybody talked about. So to not know about it, if you're a Gen Xer, is like not possible. If you're younger, it makes perfect sense because he's a completely different person, and you've probably only known him since Parks and Rec, or maybe Tommy Boy and Wayne's World.
Or
but
West
anything
Wing.
earlier, you probably don't even know what he did.
So basically,
yeah, I mean,
he
it was
Russell
fun.
Branded it because Russell Brand came out this week and said, "Yeah, I had sex with a 16-year-old, but she was legal."
Yeah, but at that time it was not illegal in Georgia. And he's happily married. He's been married for decades. He got sober after that event. He said it was one of the things that caused him to rethink his relationship to alcohol and partying. And he's lived a clean, sober, successful life. But that was a huge scandal, and it's not a secret in any shape or form. So we can absolutely mention it. But my point is, when he made that comment about Alabama girls, I'm sure some people were thinking, and people of my generation were like, oh, maybe, let's not talk about the Southern girls. But she's a pageant queen. She's beautiful. She's sweet. And she goes after Wamaki, who had coming of age TV.
Ugh.
And that was a duel I was excited for. What did you guys think about it?
It was the
That was a
worst
fun
duel of the
duel.
night.
There were a few that I didn't know, but I thought overall it was a pretty good duel.
I looked at my wife and said, "Wonder Years has got to be on here," and it was.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. 100%. I have to say, I really think this is a category they need to start splitting up by decade, because I really thought about studying for it. And I thought, I'm a TV fiend, and I grew up on, I mean, Beverly Hills 90210 defined my generation. But so many shows after that have come from My So-Called Life and Wonder Years and Freaks and Geeks, like all the way up to, The Summer I Turned Pretty and the shows that are out now for young people. You can go back to things like Leave It to Beaver, which would be considered a coming-of-age television show. I mean, that genre has kind of defined most primetime television. And I was like, holy crap, I have no idea how I would even start to study for that. Because just when you think you've got it, oh, wait, don't forget the 70s. The Brady Bunch could be a coming-of-age show. I mean, you have no idea where they're going to stop and start. And some of these shows were kind of blips. They weren't as popular as others. And I would have maybe struggled. Some of them threw me for a loop just because I was, like, not expecting them to show up. Were there any that you didn't know?
Yeah, like you said, it was such a big span of, like, old TV to right now. Never Have I Ever. Like, I don't think a lot of people that are watching Wonder Years probably also are watching Never Have I Ever. So it's like you said, I think it should be 80s coming of age. And honestly, so many TV shows can be considered coming of age if you have a teenager in it. So that's also very broad as well.
Exactly.
I've never heard of Never Have I Ever. Is that a show?
It's on
Yeah.
Netflix.
It's a newer
That's
one
a good
on
one,
Netflix. Well, that's
actually.
the thing too. The streaming services have so many. So many.
There
And
are
like
a lot.
Cobra
Atypical
Kai.
is a good show on Netflix.
Atypical was one I was surprised was on there. That's a relatively new one as well.
Yeah. They had a
and
lot of
Georgia,
like Never, Atypical, The Summer I Turned Pretty, Jenny and Georgia. Like those are all like new age, like streaming service based.
Yep.
Coming
Yep.
of age ones. It's like I'm sure people are like, what the hell? Also, I
Yeah.
was thinking
Yeah.
you were in my head watching that duel because she had The Summer I Turned Pretty, and the next person had like a one-word title, and I was like, dang, that's so annoying. Because like The Summer I
Yes.
Turned Pretty is a mouthful. Like that's so
Yes.
True.
frustrating that she's also
That's-
behind.
Yes.
And she has to say this such a long title. Like that, I'd be so annoyed.
It's like
There's
it's
like that
sucks.
in doctor stuff too.
I get
Go
mad
ahead,
about
Brad.
that actually all the time. I'm like, The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then Angie gets Dexter. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle. It's like, Longwood.
Webster. It's like
Webster. I know, where
Ashley,
was
your
Webster? Where was
cat.
different strokes, silver spoons, like so many facts of life.
Doogie
Like, there's a
Howser.
coming of age show. Doogie Howser, MD.
Yeah,
Man,
Doogie.
I was like, there needs to be
Step by
a floor
step.
just for coming of age shows. But yeah, it was really good. At the end of the day, that category was just really deep. If you study,
She was terrible, right? She passed on a lot.
Well, Maki was also really young, and despite that, she missed Cobra Kai, Ginny and Georgia, and Atypical, which are all shows that came out within the last couple of years. I
I said
understand that
Karate
she
Kid.
missed My So-Called Life. Meg missed Reservation Dogs and Grownish.
I didn't know those.
but-
I'm good.
It was still good. She did say something though I thought was weird. Anybody here have any pageant expertise?
I had to
No, I
go
don't
to them.
think pageants.
My stepsister was in pageants. I'd have to go to them as a teenager and this is pre-iPad, iPhone stuff. So I had to sit there all day, and it was so boring to me. And none of the chicks would talk to me. So there was that.
No, what did she say
Well, there
about
was-
pageants though? I don't remember.
She said that she had to retire after
Yeah, you gotta retire.
placing fourth runner up. So I think that's fifth place, and Miss USA as
Seems
Miss
to retire
Alabama.
after that? Is that like you suck
Well,
so
she
bad
said
you
I
have
had
to
to
leave?
retire, and I'm like, is there a rule that if you place within, like, is that like
think
the
you probably
tippity
age
top?
out.
Oh,
Yeah, but it seemed like
so
she
is it
retired
age-
because of that though. That's the way she posed it.
Well,
Yeah,
there's also
she's
like,
like-
so it like tiers up. So she probably started as like Miss State, whatever state she's from, and then you go for Miss USA. So then like once you've already been Miss Tennessee, like I don't think you can do Miss Tennessee again. And then there are like regulations as to what states you can compete for.
Can we get her
Okay.
on the show when the season's over? Because I got pageant questions.
I want to know because I agree. It makes a point where it's almost like you've aged out or you've reached the cap, and who's going to leave a Miss America pageant to go be like Miss Southeast Regional America? Like, she's not going to go down. Like, that's
Right.
kind of the top of the top.
Yeah, once you get
right?
to
And
the
she's
top,
gonna
you're
come
But
done.
there's
back
other
in.
ones. There's adult like pageants for like
Oh yeah, there's
older
Mrs.
women.
USA.
Yeah,
Mrs.
you could do
USA,
older
yeah.
women. Like there's 30 and up pageants.
Yeah,
Really?
for sure.
Pageants are also
Yeah,
Oh
there
yeah,
is.
my friend's sister competes in Las Vegas. She's Miss Reno right now, the reigning
Wow.
Miss Reno.
So there's a show we used to have on the Hopecast Network, co-hosted by Aaron, who is a runner, and it was called Ones and Twos. It was a podcast about bathroom issues. And Aaron, she had a friend. Yeah, it was a great show. We did like 8 episodes. It's gone. You can't listen to it anymore. But we had a Miss New York on, and she talked about her bathroom of having to poop out by a car, and it was pretty gross. So yeah, it happens. They have old pageants. She was like Mrs. New York, Nikki, not a young Miss. She was old.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
sorry, that was a tangent. But hey,
Yeah. Hey, there it is. Well, now we
You
get
said
Oregon
Ones
Trail.
and Twos lasted for 8 episodes. Go figure.
That was me. Sorry, bro. I'll say this: Meg wins that though, and she decides to keep going. So we're like, "Yay, Meg!" But she's a competitor, right? She's a pageant queen. She eats people like this for breakfast. So she goes after Lizette. Now Lizette we already know she's scared of Oregon Trail. She seemed a little nervous before when she was talking about it. Now that could all be like hype and tactics, but she ends up coming back to fight and defend it. And this is when we talk about things like it's basically prairie stuff, name stuff on the prairie. There are a few things though, and Meg didn't miss any. Lizette missed oxen. She missed.
Oh my God, that was
gold
so
I was
pan.
obvious.
thinking cow. I was like cow.
Yeah, and well, she said
It was
bull,
obviously
cow,
an
and
oxen. It was lugging stuff.
it was yoked and had a yoke around its neck, right?
Yeah.
And she missed a trail marker. I didn't think it was too difficult, but I can understand, if you're just not thinking about that genre of stuff and, you've never.
Yeah, I guess she had no time to
seen-
study at all because she inherited it and then she immediately pretty much went up. So
Yep. So she was just kind of stuck to do the best she could. So Meg wins and says, I'm going for 3. So she goes for it. And she picks Paige with Bravo stars. Now, I was all about this category. 'cause
Oh
I
my
am a
gosh.
Bravo freak.
I wanted Alex for
America.
this category, Angie. I wanted Alex
I
so
wanted
bad
see-
to be on the
Alex would
show.
have done well, I think.
He would have.
Do you
He
guys
would have done amazing.
Do you guys watch Bravo? Like stuff?
Not
Any particular
really.
show?
I didn't know it.
Okay.
I didn't know.
I
Like,
knew
one
some of it. I knew
detail.
Carson Kressley and they didn't. That was crazy.
Well, Carson's been around a long time.
Tim
right? I
Gunn
was
they didn't
shocked.
get
I was
either.
shocked.
I knew Tim Gunn.
pageant.
I never even watched this stuff like Tim Gunn.
Yeah.
The pageant queen did not get Tim Gunn or
Yeah.
Carson Kressley.
Yeah, that
like
was
the
crazy.
two fashionistas from Bravo. I was surprised. They had a couple people that even people who don't watch Bravo might have recognized from Traders, like Tom Sandoval and Phaedra.
Phaedra Parks, yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact: Tom Sandoval and Andy Cohen, both from St. Louis. What? Just throwing that out.
You got one good,
exciting
one bad.
One good, one bad. Yeah, but it was skip all day. Megan was just skipping off the stage, man. She skipped 6, I think I counted.
Yeah, that was
Almost
honestly a pretty rough duel. I wanted to see a lot more of that, and it was just pass. Like if this is,
I think she
if you really
panicked.
know Bravo, you should know these people.
Yeah,
They weren't that
at least
hard.
a few. At least
Yeah.
a few. And if you're going to risk your third duel on that, you got to know that you're risking it for something. And I was kind of surprised. I do
At
think
that rate,
probably
she
did-
should have just done Muppets. If she clearly wasn't that confident with Bravo, she should have just went for Muppets.
I feel like
You're
Muppets
right.
would be easier
You're
because you know
right.
you're gonna get Kermit, you're gonna get Miss Piggy, you're gonna get Scooter, you're gonna get Skeeter, you're gonna
You're
get
right.
Beaker. I mean, I
I
feel
think
like
she
you could
said
crush
she didn't
the
know
Muppets.
Muppets, so if you really know nothing about Muppets, but if you're that close on the floor to someone who has Muppets, maybe like look at it on a break. It's not like that out of
Yes.
pocket.
No, it's not. And you're right.
And y'all
If you
have
can
distinctive
admit-
looks, Nikki.
Oh yeah, I mean
They do.
I come from a Muppet family. My sister's dog's name is Fozzie, so we go hard for the Muppets. But yeah, you'd think that even if you weren't a Muppet person, you would take a little bit of time to look at a few. But
100%.
I love the
digress.
Muppets. The Muppets are amazing.
it was interesting with it being episode 5 and knowing the behind the scenes is like this is the first episode you're filming of a day. So you've went home or went back to your hotel and you've had a whole night to study the stuff around you so to see and like your own category. So to see so many people just completely like fumble through categories that they've been really close to or straight up on top of the whole time is like, what are you guys doing? Like, what are you doing in your free time? I don't get it.
Yeah. They're just doing Guinness tours back to back to back to back. I can't imagine them doing anything else.
They're hanging out with the Flormally, Ashley. That's what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right, Brett. I'll tell you this though, honestly, if you were coin flipping anything, you're right about the Muppets being at least differentiated. I mean, the Real Housewives all look alike. They all have the same lips and the same Botox injection scars. It's like they are all the same women. It really is, and I'm not dissing them because they had Botox. I'm literally saying that if you look at a cast of the Real Housewives, it can be difficult to differentiate them. The Muppets, not so much. And like the top 20 we all grew up with. We all saw Muppet Christmas. We all have a sense of pop culture.
You're going to get Rizzo. You're going to get Animal. You're going to get them. So it's easy. Of course, I grew up on Muppets, so there's that.
Well, everyone kind of grew up on Muppets, whether it's Muppets
Not her.
movies and I guess not her. Yeah.
She's the one.
Well, and I'll be surprised, honestly, when Jen comes up. It's her category. But I'm like, what really makes you a Muppet expert? Like, I kind of want to hear that story. Like, you know, anybody
she kind of looks
say,
like a Muppet herself. So maybe she just is a Muppet. That's my theory. Someone is just like there.
What?
Didn't she say she was like making some kind of like musical or something about them?
Oh yeah, she like wrote a Muppet movie starring Rob Lowe. I think she was making that up though.
Yeah,
She had to be. There's no way.
Although I would watch that.
Sarah Marshall in my head, where he like writes
I don't
the
know.
musical.
I'm
with
intimidated
the
now.
Wasn't
I
that
don't
done
know.
in 5 year or in what was that movie with Jason Segel where
Forgetting
he
Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Thank you, Ashley. You were there.
Yep.
He did
was
the
a good
Muppet
one.
stuff.
He had full frontal in that, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he went full frontal. I would never go full frontal in a movie. There's no way.
That's how I remember the movie.
Not in Monkey Cop?
Had full nail.
Monkey Cop, maybe full frontal, but nothing else. That's not.
All right.
How do we start a podcast talking about the only episode in floor history to feature only women, and we end up talking about full frontal male nudity and the fact that Eric sat there and collected another $20K for doing nothing?
Because
guys got
there's nothing to
60,000
talk about in this season.
No, you're right.
Such a snooze. I'm so sorry.
I know. Womp
So far,
womp.
you're right.
Ashley's like, why do I have to keep watching this to come on here? Why?
What?
No,
You know what? We don't know what's going to happen next week. Apparently, things are going to go down. Things are going to get shaken up. I guess we're going to wait and find out.
Is that what the
I think they
preview showed?
want us to do
I don't
that.
watch the previews. Did it show that things are going to get shaken up?
The title is Sweet Revenge.
Oh.
They're probably just saying that to make people watch, and then we're gonna watch, and then nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah, like
guys.
Game Bouncer Ben said, is it an unpopular opinion to hope Eric doesn't win 20? No, we want him not to win 20,000.
No one wants him at this point.
No, I don't want him racking up like Brian did.
60K at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I just simply can't have him pass Jonathan. Like, actually, Jonathan, get behind me. Like, this man cannot come away feeling like he's better than you.
No, that would be
He
bad.
needs to fend off. I'm with Tim. He needs to fend off challengers. This is ridiculous. This guy just sitting there, and I hate the scene where he's like, "I'll get used to this. I don't need to work. I could just get on here and make money." I'm like, dude, you sound so
that
stupid
was
right
not-
now.
Maybe just get a
Well,
job.
the
I don't
people
know.
around him kind of just kissing his
you-
butt a little. I'm like,
Does he
come
have a
on,
wife?
stop fanning his ego.
Does he have a wife
I
and
don't know his
kids?
personal life.
I wonder if he
No,
has
I
a
don't
wife
stalk
and
his
kids.
life. He probably wants everyone to stalk his life, though.
Oh man, I gotta look this guy up.
Oh, now you're gonna stalk his life?
I'm gonna
give him what he
stalk it.
wants, Brad. Give him what he wants.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it
Pete-
hard right
Pete,
now.
Don't miss his butt like everybody in his alliance, Brad. Give him what he wants. But maybe, I don't know.
Why do these people kiss his tail in that corner? I don't understand why they're listening to him. I don't get the power this guy has over them.
They probably think they're gonna get more screen time by sucking up to him and talking to him in between all the duels, so all of them are just like a little posse surrounding him.
He doesn't have social media, so I can't find him.
Good.
I think he
Oh,
does.
he's on Facebook.
He
No,
does?
does have social media.
He's on Facebook.
What's his
right?
name? Eric what?
Hold on, I have to find it.
I thought he might be following Fran, or Ren might be following him, but she's not. So
I saw it in passing today.
I want to know this guy. I got to know. Eric what?
I can send it to you at some point.
Did you say he? Eric he?
Game Bouncer
Michael
Dip
Jackson.
says, I don't mind if he stays on the show, but he needs to not win 20,000 anymore so he can be humbled. I don't know if Humlin's gonna. I think the only humbling he needs is getting evicted from the show. That's what I think.
Evicted. I love
He
that.
needs to get evicted.
I think it just comes back to Angie's point of like he's saying stuff about like the gameplay in the show that just don't make sense. And like saying it with such conviction, like that's just frustrating to watch as someone who actually does understand how the show works. Where it's like you act like you're an authority on something that you're just not. It's annoying.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like where's the
you're a
chess play,
winner,
bro?
Ashley. You've been there. You've been to the top of the mountain. So when you see this guy, you're like, "Come on, dude, win it, and then come talk." If he wins it, I guess he can flex. If he wins it, I guess.
Yeah.
Not he's not
Well,
in
you
your.
don't play-
He's not in
Here's
your
the
level.
thing. You don't play chess by doing nothing. So the fact that he just sat there the whole episode and collected money, he's like, I'm playing chess and the rest of these yahoos are playing checkers. I'm like, you're not playing. You went back to the floor and you're sitting there just proving that going back is probably not a bad decision. I don't know, man. He's proved more to me. He's cracking up a little bit. I don't know if I'm taking it personally. I'm not even on the show with it. Boy, there's
Can you
some of
guys
it
hear
that's about
Angie?
No, I can't hear it.
I can't hear Angie again. But anyways, I think that's probably our cue to wrap things
Yeah.
up for tonight.
Let's wrap it up. It's a good
It's
night.
Nikki's bedtime.
Yeah.
Angie, can you hear us now? No.
Anyway, for Angie, Nikki, Ashley, my name is Brad. We will see you next week. Ashley, always good having you. You're always welcome. I'll
Thanks
be
for
hitting you
coming
up.
on, Ash.
Thanks for coming on. You're fun. We'll see you next week on the floor.